So, alright, so that was as I was saying, you know, a lot of gangsters, you know. Alright. Okay, so now let us get down to heads. Let us what? Let us get down to heads. For us in for Nigeria and Nigerians, whether in Nigeria or in diaspora, or as we have it in Africa, you know, just like then, the South Africans had their slogan of their version of taking back what belongs to theirs. You know, then they called it East Religion, they called it Africa. But now, our slogan is to take our resources back. Because fundamentally, a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians who leave Nigeria to come to study abroad, just as well, really was fundamentally the fact that Nigeria was not working. Nigeria was not working. And unfortunately, there used to be a period where, you know, people come from different parts of the country just to come and see what happens in Nigeria. Things were working back then. Education was good. In fact, there was a period, if you read through Chino Achebe, I was reading through Chino Achebe's book, there was a content that was describing King's College. You know, back then, you discover that the King's College of 1935, was far more better than the universities we have in 2018. Unfortunately, even the university I finished from, the so-called Ivy League of Nigeria, you know, had some of its courses disaccredited. And that is a question of things all over the country. I do not intend to say much. Like when he entered, I said that the man who is going to lead Africa on the path of revolution, walked in, you get it, is the man who has the courage of a lion, the strength of an elephant, and the eyes of an eagle. Permit me to invite Comrade Omoyele Sowore, the incoming president of Nigeria 2019.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Livingston, and I have a special interest in this program. I was born in Zaria, Kaduna State, and unfortunately 1983. We made our way back here. My uncle is still in Zaria as we speak, so I have a special interest in what happens in Nigeria. So we'll talk as we go on. I want us to, let's start with a short prayer. If somebody can lead us in a short prayer. And then anybody tear around? Just a short prayer and then we will be quick.
Let's pray. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نحمد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you very much. Let's continue. Another volunteer to lead us for our national anthem, the national anthem of Nigeria. Anybody to lead us? Any volunteer? Any volunteer? National anthem of Nigeria.
One, two, go.
has some info a while ago. He also touched my heart. I have the same principles, and I share the same principles on commercial. You know, currently on the African stage, the guys who have ruled us so far, from the age of 60 to the 70s, have not done us any good. In fact, their brains have become so tired. And if you look at Ghana's constitution, when you are 60 years, you ought to retire from active politics or from active work. But unfortunately, these guys come up to offer themselves to be voted for as leaders of our country. And Ghana has been declining and declining. At the moment, our debt is nearing 200 billion Ghana cedis. If you look at the voter population of Ghana, it's 15.7. And from 18 years to 47 years, that age bracket forms almost 61% of the voter population. Then those who are from 60 and above, they are only about 2.5 million of people. And these guys, this small fraction of people have been the ones ruling us. So, in the same way as here in Ghana, our president Nana has failed miserably, as is happening in the case of Buhari. So Ghana and Nigeria seem to have a semblance of some political history, the same. So whatever happens here, happens there. Whatever happens there, happens here. So I'm all for it. I'll be calling on Comrade Omoyele to take us through his agenda, how he intends changing the Nigerian narrative, that in the abundance of resources, the country is still in a quagmire. So, Comrade Omoyele, if you are ready, please come and take the podium.
Before it goes on, we're going to teach us how to do the take it back thing. Okay. So what we do, take it back, you say take it back, you say take it back, you say Sowore 2019. Are we good? So take it back, take it back, Sowore 2019. Okay. Let's do it again. Take it back, take it back, take it back, Sowore 2019. Ginger, one more time. Take it back, take it back, take it back, Sowore 2019. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ghana. Thank you for having us. We understand completely that this event, the Ghanaian Town Hall meeting, was planned as a last-minute effort on the part of some of our friends in Ghana who have heard so much about exploits traveling around the world and within Nigeria that they said we should come here to Ghana. And Ghana is very strategic to us in Nigeria. It's strategic because it was in Ghana that an attempt was made to unify Africa by Kwame Nkrumah. In fact, that agenda, attempt to unify Africa by Kwame Nkrumah, led to the influx of Africans who were fighting for liberation around the continent of Africa to come to Ghana, live in Ghana. Some of them even married in Ghana. Someone like Mugabe came to Ghana. He was a teacher in Ghana before he went and became a leader in Mugabe. And as our friend Livingston said, you know, these African leaders start as leaders and then they mutate into other things before they become completely a burden on the continent of Africa. In fact, it's been said that the idea of the European Union was an idea stolen from the continent of Africa. But when we say they stole the idea from Africa, we're just making light of how many things is still here. They've been stealing from Africa from the beginning of time. You know, there was a time that the Europeans were stealing human beings from here in the name of slavery. And when they were done with slavery, they came after our resources. And after they came after our resources, I think they started looting our senses. And when they were done with looting our senses and our economies, they handed us over to our internal colonialists. These are the leaders that Livingston we're talking about. Africa today is governed by people that are, you know, people can describe as vegetables. They have become completely incapable of running even their own personal affairs. Some of them cannot go to the bathroom and come back on their own without assistance, but they refuse to allow Africa to be governed by young people who form the biggest part of his population. But you don't blame that on these leaders, you blame it on African young people themselves, who are just there complacent and refusing to take power from these people. When it was time for revolutionary change in terms of fighting for independence, young people did not wait for the Europeans to give them power. They went for it, they fought for it. I should say that it's not all African countries that fought for independence using the guerrilla method. But Kenyans, Zimbabweans did do that, and Angolans did it, they did it in Mozambique, and some of it blew up in our faces. But some other ones did it by negotiating. But somehow there was some aggressive way through which Africa had independence that is lacking today, completely lacking. Each time I hear people complain about all these old African leaders not leaving their position of power, I find it, I find it uncomfortable, because we are the ones who are making it possible for them to live off of our own future and our destinies. We are the ones who refuse to move in such a way that they will understand very clearly and unequivocally that we are tired of them and we want them to move out of the way. As you mentioned, the president of Ghana is probably about 70-something years old.
73 years old.
73 years old. That is his official age, which is a football age, as we call it. The one in Nigeria is 75. That's official. He was 74. He went to London for medical treatment, and they discovered that he had an age hidden somewhere, so they applied that one to it. But what we heard is that his younger sister is 82 years old. So you imagine someone whose sister is 82 years old is 74. All of this, you go to Uganda, is the same thing. Cameroon is running for his 7th term. The president of Cameroon, Paul Biya, is running for his 7th term, and he's been there for almost 30-something years. So Africa is in a situation that is unacceptable. But the reason why we are here today is not to tell how bad the African story or situation is to let you know that the moment we get it right in Nigeria, Africa will start having a new lease of life. And we want to show an example to the entire African continent that young people in Nigeria can collaborate, unite, and make sure that the old people in our midst are retired permanently from politics. And if they don't retire, well, you can't blame those of us who are making it, talking about it the way we are talking about it, because as I've always said, I don't believe in violence, and I will never engage in violence. But that is not to say that other people who are tired and frustrated, whose future has been held down, or whose ability to progress has been destroyed and decimated by these leaders, we continue to look why their future is being messed up by African leaders. Nigeria's story is particularly pathetic, considering how much money is available or has been available to Nigerians to develop Nigeria, and that just as the more money we have, the more wicked the leadership has become in terms of just frittering away our wealth, and also in most cases not just frittering away, they are outrightly stealing it, to the extent that even in this Ghana that we are in today, if you go to the hotels, the major 5-star hotels, they are occupied by Nigerian leaders who have come here to spend their weekend. Some of the most elegant houses in Ghana are probably owned by Nigerian business people. You have their banks everywhere. Everywhere you go, Nigeria has brought even their own bad influence on the Ghanaian politics here. What is money politics? They brought it here. Anytime elections are happening in Ghana, Ghanaian candidates are flying into Nigeria depending on where they can get the most money from. So it is where we are that we said is intolerable. And we will not continue to just watch and look while this continue ad infinitum. And that is the basis upon which we started our Take It Back movement that you have seen over here. And it was a basis about 6 months ago. I personally took a decision that I will present myself as an alternative to the decadent political structure in Nigeria, to not only clean up Nigeria, but also make sure that we move Nigeria onto a different level or a different trajectory and direction. And when we say that, we mean it very, very seriously. And what we have done in 6 months, just 6 months that we started, has been so massive that the political system is rattled already. But we are not interested in just rattling the political system, because when you rattle them, they have the capability to readjust and recover very quickly. But we want to completely shake the table to the extent that everybody that is on there that has been standing in the way of our progress will fall off the wagon. And that's what we are planning to do. And as our campaign, if any one of you has followed our campaign, you discover that it's been very unique in its way, and in terms of addressing the needs of Nigeria, in terms of also speaking truth to power directly, in terms of confronting where necessary the problems of Nigeria and those people who have been responsible for placing Nigeria where it is today. Nigeria, in terms of Human Development Index, has the worst of the statistics. If you are looking at the most corrupt countries, Nigeria comes, as one of the first. If you are looking at the country that has the lowest consumption of electricity per kilowatt, Nigeria is comparable only to South Sudan on the continent of Africa. That's the truth. If you are looking at Nigeria just recently became the world headquarters of poverty. That's the best way to describe it. Having left India, India used to compete with Nigeria, but India has now moved away from Nigeria, and Nigeria has become the headquarters of poverty, not on the continent of Africa, but in the whole wide world. And this is the same Nigeria that has exported over $500 billion in oil. This is the 6th largest producer of oil in the world. This is a country that has 198 million people. Some of them very innovative people. It's a country that produced Chinua Achebe. It's a country of Wole Soyinka. Right? It's the country of some of the best entertainers, sportsmen, scientists, musicians in the world. Yet, as Nigeria is producing some of these great citizens, it also has some of the dumbest leaders on the continent of Africa and in the world. And where we are today is that some of our citizens are applauding the decadence that's going on in the country, and actually asking that those of us who are young should please wait for 4 more years, forgetting that if you have 4 years in every ramification is what changes life. Let me describe it to you. How many years we spent in secondary school? 6 years. After you are defined by 6 years, you go to secondary school for 5 years, now 6 years, 12 years. But the most crucial part of education, which is to get a degree, is done for 4 years. So if you have a leader that takes 4 years out of your life, it means that if we continue the trajectory we are in Nigeria today, it will be 4 years without an opportunity to attend college, university. Because there are not enough opportunities to do so. It will be another 4 years of darkness because there's no electricity. It will be another 4 years of insecurity in the country. You've heard about herdsmen, Boko Haram, you heard about the Nigerian SARS, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. There's just so many avenues through which Nigeria or Nigerians are sabotaged. It's going to be another 4 years without infrastructure. Roads, schools, bridges, rail lines that we need to construct. It will be another 4 years without hospitals. That is the likelihood that even the age at which we are supposed to live, what do they call them? The life expectancy will reduce again, because it used to be 53 years old. By the way, if you are 53 years old in Nigeria, you are supposed to have died. That means that Nigeria, if you were born in 1960, by now you should have died, because Nigeria is 58 years old. You'll be 59 next year. Meanwhile, the leaders of Nigeria, the president of Nigeria is older than Nigeria. He was born before independence, but they are snuffing life out of children of independence. Not only are they doing that, they are also now about to snuff life out of the children of democracy. Who are the children of democracy in Nigeria? People who were born between 1999, who will turn 20 years old next year by 2019. And with the way democracy has operated in Nigeria, these kids that were born in 1999 have never experienced any form of governance. Don't even talk about, don't put good in front of it. If you were born in 1999, you were born into the hands of the political party known as the People's Democratic Party. This is people destroying people, is what we call it in Nigeria, or papa deceiving Pikin. So you imagine that you spend 16 years of your life. You were born in 1999. You were born accidentally and unfortunately into the hands of the PDP. PDP wasted 16 years out of your life. And then APC then took over and wasted another 3 years, going to 4 years out of your life. By next year, you have lived a wasted life. Almost completely. From the day they cut your umbilical cord until you turn 20. There's nothing that can be more tragic than that. And that is the reason why we are calling on all these young people, both those who were born before 1999 and those who were born after 1999 or during 1999. Our own generation, almost the same thing. I was born in 1971, but I can tell you that I had some flickle, we enjoyed a little bit of somethings. We used to, our parents could buy us up to a point, Christmas clothes. We used to pose and take pictures, because it was so cool during Christmas and New Year. This generation of children after 1980, when the military started coming, in 1980 actually, it wasn't bad, because I also in 1980 enjoyed free education until 1984 thereabout. When this Buhari came and struck, kicked off all the democratic leaders in the country, and then they took away free education from us. But even with all the work they did, I still attended university, not paying school fees, practically zero school fees. Our school fees at the University of Lagos was 45 naira, which is about $1.01, 10 cents now. Our accommodation fee was 90 naira. That's about $3. So we had affordable education. Then Babangida came and institutionalized corruption. After him came about 6 other presidents, including the one that is there today. They have destroyed our lives, but I pity those who were born between 1993 and now. Those ones they lived completely in darkness. When I attended the University of Lagos, my first 3 years, we had electricity. To the extent that we used to protest when they took light. It was like a crime against humanity for electricity to not be available, for water not to be available. Now, the students at the University of Lagos probably have their own generators per room. Yes.
Take it!
Wow.
Take it!
Wow. The students of the University of Lagos today drink what they call pure water. In fact, the only thing that has been invented at the University of Lagos since I left the place in 1994, thereabout, is pure water. They have a Unilag water and bread. They have not invented a computer, not invented anything that we have heard of apart from selling water and bread at the University of Lagos. I'm just giving you, maybe you might find me all over the place, but those of you who are Africans, and Nigerians in particular, who have found yourself outside of Nigeria, because of no fault of your own, will understand and you can connect with what is happening in Nigeria. And I know there are lots and lots of Nigerians in Ghana now. But look at the story of Nigeria and Ghana. In 1983, Ghanaians went to Nigeria because there was poverty and bad governance in Ghana. In year 2000 and thereafter, Nigerians are trooping to Ghana because there's poverty in Nigeria, right? I had Ghanaian teachers, fantastic teachers, but I'll tell you, we used to make fun of Ghanaians when we were growing up. They would correct us, call them Ghanaians. They would say, no, we're not Ghanaians, we're Ghanaians, because of the influx of Ghanaians. And then there's a bag in Nigeria that they call Ghana must go to today, which is a derogatory way of referring to how Ghanaians were treated kicked out of Nigeria. I think it was also by Buhari. I think it was Buhari that kicked Ghanaians out of.
Yeah.
Was it Shagari? Yeah. It was Buhari that started Ghana must go. Shagari. But now, you guys must be preparing for your own Nigeria must go. You know, and this time around, I don't even think you guys will give them a bag. You know, so there will be a Nigeria must go back when you are tired of us. And it is just how sad things are that just between 20 years, the fortunes have changed. Those who are listening to you, by the way, listening that just complaining about how things are bad in Ghana and Nigeria, they'll be laughing at you. Because today, if Ghana requested visa for Nigerians to be coming to Ghana, your consulate will be filled with people who want to migrate to Ghana. Yes, they think that this place is paradise. Yeah. Our politicians are always here. You see them at the airport. If you are coming to Ghana on Friday, you are likely not to find a seat if you don't book on time. Because everybody will come here and spend the weekend. This is the last bastion of order, Ghana. If you travel to Nigeria, even as you are flying in, you can feel it inside the plane that you are entering another area and zone where all kinds of unrelated activities are happening, whether psychic, psychological. Nigeria is broke, and the people of Nigeria are broken, or whichever way you want to look at it. So that is why we are presenting ourselves very strongly to provide a strong alternative against the decadent leadership in Nigeria, so that Ghana can also have a lease of life that is different from what they have now, which is only attending to corrupt Nigerian officials or taking corrupt money from Nigeria. So that Cameroon can feel the impact of the freedom that will come to Nigeria. So that Togo, where there's a Boy Scout, you know, misbehaving, can also get the full weight of our moral leadership on the continent. If Nigeria gets it right, we'll be able to tell so many of these old, ragged, tired, corrupt African leaders that their people are complaining. But with a Buhari as president of Nigeria, is a recipe for, you know, magnetic attraction of other old people like him. It's a gerontocracy on the continent of Africa. So this is why we're here to share ideas with you. As you probably have seen behind me, we have fantastic ideas on how to grow the Nigerian economy, regardless of what they might be telling you. If you hear about Nigerian economy, you can never fully grasp it, because the Minister of Finance will be telling you different, the National Bureau of Statistics will be telling you something different, the Minister of National Planning is telling you something different, the Director General of Budget and Planning is telling you something different. You can't get an idea, because Nigeria is such an interesting place that there's financial conundrum in the place. It's too much money, but it's not money that is available for the good of the people. It's available for just a few people. And a few people in Nigeria are doing so well. The other day I was flying out of Abuja, and I always pay attention to the, you know, that we have two airports. There's a private airport where you park all the private air jets, and the commercial airports that serve the rest of us. The private air jet section always has private jets. The last time I was in Abuja, which was about 4 or 5 days ago, I counted nothing less than 20 private jets at the Abuja airport. And I counted the number of commercial jets. They were not up to 10. I'm telling you this. So, as much as we are complaining about Nigeria, some people are not complaining. They like Nigeria the way it is. Because for as long as Nigeria is like that, they will be doing so well for themselves. Somebody was asking me on our way here, he was asking, he said, why is it that in Ghana, and I'm not trying to praise your leaders, that why is it that when Nigerian leaders come to places like Ghana, we have not even mentioned South Africa, why don't they take the ideas here and go and implement at home? I said to them, it's like, if they develop Nigeria, the middle class will blossom. They will be doing better. And when the middle class blossom, they will not respect the big leaders. Yes, middle class people don't care about a governor passing. They will not, even if you are bringing siren, they will leave the road for you. But when you have a high percentage of poor people you have raw materials of people who will be kissing your behind. And that's how Nigerian leaders love it. They love the poverty in the place because that's where they draw their respect from. When you hear somebody is chief with big agbada in Nigeria, is defined by the number of people he has made poor. And those poor people will be there to be praising him. Ah, chief, may you live long. In fact, in Hausa part of Nigeria, they have a way of greeting the chiefs. Rankadede. Rankadede means that may you live long or something like that. And when we went to the north, I said, why don't you change it that, Rwanda or something like that? May we all live long. He said, if we say that, the Rankadede people will not like it. Because they like it when you say Rankadede and you genuflect before them. So we want to make sure we change that mentality in Nigeria. And if we change, I have said it that I am convinced that Nigeria is on the path, is about to change, is about to turn a different direction. But I'm also very sure that it will not be easy. Because we are up against some of the richest people, some of the most diabolic people you can find in the world, some of the most wicked people that you can find in the world. The condition that Nigeria is a customized improvisation of 198 million people. Yes, and until you dismantle it by retiring and sending away those people who made it the way it is, Nigeria is not going to do. There's nothing we can say about it. There's no amount of PowerPoint presentations we can say about Nigeria. There's no amount of Africa rising, we can say that. There's no amount of patriotism that we can say about Nigeria that will change Nigeria, except Nigerians mobilize themselves. And I say the same thing to you, Ghanaians, except you mobilize yourselves to change leadership that has been sucking oxygen away from your progress and development. The ones that are holding your destinies to ransom. The ones that the churches call principalities. But you know that the churches also are not telling you the truth, because then they say principalities and enemies. They are making you look at your fellow poor people. Meanwhile, the principalities are sitting in front of the churches, and they want you to pray for them. They will tell you there's a governor in our midst today. Let's rise and pray for him that nothing will happen to him. His vehicle will never be in an accident. The church members should be praying otherwise, because the enemy is right there sitting in front of the church. Take him! I'm saying this because I'm speaking because the Holy Spirit is directing me. To speak against the principalities that are causing poverty and underdevelopment on the continent of Africa. So that's what we are here to share, and I wouldn't want to go say anything to you that you don't know about. But I just want to welcome all of you once again. The format for this kind of engagement is after this speech, you feel free to ask questions from us, and we'll try and answer as many of these questions to the best of our abilities. Before I sit down, I want to recognize and invite to the high table a lady who helped us put this together very quickly. She's Farida Bemba. She's from Togo. Please come to the high table. We are looking at most likely the president of Togo in the next 2 months. Yes. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we have also in the house a young presidential candidate, aspirant in Ghana. I'd like to encourage young people to stand up wherever they are on the continent of Africa to kick all these old fools out of power. Sometimes you have to permit my French, but I'm speaking from the heart. I have Merrick here in the house, who is looking to become please come to the high table. Let's have you on the high table as well. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to also speak directly to the congregation today, today being Sunday. Talk about how we can make Africa a great continent once again. So let me thank you all once again for coming. We apologize. We've gotten a lot of responses from those of you in Ghana that we should have given you more time so that you can make this a bigger event. We will come back to Ghana. Ghana is just, by the way, 40 minutes flight from here. But unfortunately, 12 hours drive from Nigeria is part of what we should address with new leadership on the continent of Africa, because Africa, particularly the West African region, is not making progress because we are not integrated. Real integration means that somebody should be able to travel from Ghana to Lagos without meeting 50 checkpoints.
Yes.
Some of these are artificial barriers created by our colonial leaders, and we keep implementing them. It takes almost 3 hours to cross from Benin Republic, from Nigeria side of Benin Republic, to Benin Republic, because of the bottlenecks created by corruption in most cases, and our inability to recognize that we are all one. So the moment we become leaders in Nigeria, we will demolish all the borders, and we will create a super highway, not between Nigeria and Ghana alone. There is a super highway that needs to go from here to Senegal, and another one heading to South Africa. And not only super highways alone, train lines that can connect the African continent. Because when the Europeans wanted to make their European Union a union, they first of all developed infrastructure that connected them. So from the UK today, you can travel underwater and get into France. And when you get to France, Germany, they have fast trains, some of them as fast as 150 kilometers per hour. But Africa doesn't have anything, just bad leaders. And there was a time I met one of them in the US, was a Cameroonian ambassador. I said, oh, our democracy needs time to grow. I said, shut up. Why is it that you people know how to drive expensive cars from Europe, but you don't like European democracy? You don't know how to operate democracy, but you know how to operate Mercedes-Benz. You know how to operate private jets, but you don't know how to operate democracy. Democracy and private jets came from the same place now. So the same way you upgrade your cars every year, upgrade your democracy too, so that they can catch up with the democracy everywhere. Thank you so much, brother and sister.
Thank you, comrade. Let's give him another round of applause. I've listened. You kind of have some good story about Ghana, but that will be for another day. I want to tell you there's no good story in Ghana. Let nobody deceive you. There is stagnation. In public law, there's something we call, it's a principle. Greatest good for the greatest majority of the people. So if few people are enjoying from the polity, that doesn't resonate well in public interest law. So it demands that we have to fight them. We need to correct that principle. So, comrade, I want you to connect more. You need to connect this message to the youth. Ghana through, there's somebody, he will be joining us later. He is just 41 years old. He also wants to become president. But one thing we have defined is that in this society, there are deep-seated connections. In Nigeria, you have the PDP APC syndrome. In Ghana, we also have NDC MPP. So we here, we have decided that let us infiltrate these two political traditions and take over their leadership. That can happen. That is the strategy we are adopting in Ghana. So I don't know if you want to adopt a new vehicle altogether, but let's see how it goes. So that will depend on how we connect it better. Another comment is in the house. He will give us some few thoughts before we go to the Q&A. His name is Abiodun Ladepo. I thought he's a U.S. military officer. He will give us some. They give him a round of applause.
Take it back.
Should they be?
Take it back.
Should they be?
I was in Nigeria when the movement started, and I was fortunate to be at the first Townhall meeting in Ibadan. I went to UI, he went to UI, I went to UI. So when he was talking about about Unilag, I was thinking about UI. You see, a couple of years after I left Nigeria for the US, I would go back to Nigeria, and my hometown is Ibadan, the seat of UI. And I would go back to my school. When I was a student there, I was editing the campus magazine, so I would go back to the students that were, that took over the magazine. And then I would go back to my home of residence. I lived in Melambie, for those of you who may have known UI. I would go to Melambie. When I was at Melambie, it was one of those homes that had 2 students per room. When I was there, like he paid, how much did you guys pay? You know,
19 naira.
Okay, we paid 50 naira for accommodation at UI, 2 to a room. Tuition was free. We ate chicken, ice cream. I mean, half a real chicken, and ice cream 3 times a week. 50 kobo meal ticket. And at that time, we complained. We didn't know that it was we were living in paradise. So the reason I support this movement is just one thing. I want to get the youth angry enough to understand that they are suffering. They may not understand that they are suffering because all they know is what they have. A lot of them have not seen the other side of the world. For them to have something with which they can compare what's going on in Nigeria. I've been in Ghana for 4 years. I'm not speaking for the United States government. I'm not speaking for the United States military. I'm in the United States Army. Actually here as a U.S. diplomat. I'm not speaking for the U.S. government. I'm speaking as someone born in Nigeria who wants Nigeria to be better. And I think that because we have been imprisoned by the traditional political system and traditional politicians, we don't see the other side of the world and know that we're suffering. So I have seen the other side of the world, as he has, and as some people in this hall for sure. I've lived in the US for 30 years, lived in Germany for 8 years, been to Iraq, Kosovo, been to Korea, here in Ghana, been to many places. And so each time I go to these places, guess what? I compare what I see on ground with what is in Nigeria. I go to Nigeria all the time, no matter where I am in the world. In 30 years of being outside Nigeria, I never spent my leave outside Nigeria. So I've been in Ghana for 4 years, like I said, but I've driven to Nigeria 17 times. I'm driving to Nigeria again on Wednesday. So when I do these drives, and by the way, I've driven through all of Ghana, all the way to Ouagadougou, okay? So when I'm doing these drives, I'm thinking in my head, okay, I can make it from my house in Cantonment here to Aflao in 2 hours and 45 minutes when I leave at 5 a.m. I make it through Togo. I know we don't want to say great things about Ghana or Togo because all these countries may have bad governments. I say may because I'm a diplomat here, okay? All right, so I make it through Togo in 45 minutes. Through Benin Republic in maybe 2.5 hours. In total, I'm always at Semeboda by 6.5 hours. But you see, between Semeboda and Mile 2, it always takes me 6 hours. That is 80 kilometers in 6 hours. I have timed it, I've checked, I'm telling you, it's 80 kilometers. So if the road was as good as the road between here, between Accra and Aflao, that's something I should make in 1 hour. But I'm making it in 6 hours. So imagine when I'm with my wife and daughter, and we're in that bad road for 6 hours. At one time she was throwing up. So people who don't go through that road, Nigerian youths, most of whom are here, a lot of you guys here are considered youths. I'm not a youth, I'm over 50. Nigerian youths don't know that they're suffering. If you never had to go to Ghana from Nigeria, you wouldn't see that road as bad. In fact, the eastbound road on Lagos-Badagry, that's the one from Seme to Mantu, is actually better from the westbound side. It's better than the westbound side. It's so bad that people still sink it. And it's been like that for like 4 years. So you wouldn't see that as horrible. I'll give you another road. The Omoyele road. I don't know anybody here who has seen that road. The Omoyele road, that is not as bad as far as being bad on your vehicle, okay? But it will kill you. It kills 15 people every 2 weeks or so. It's been like that since I told you I'm over 50, since I was like 12, when my dad and I used to drive from Ilorin down to Ibadan. And he always complained about, this road is dangerous, this road is dangerous. And now I say it, my wife will not even go on that road with me. Okay? But people in Omoyele and Oyo, the youth there, they are the ones that APC and PDP will mobilize to go and cause trouble, to go and rig elections and perpetuate them in power. But the next week they get on that road to go to school, they die. So that's for infrastructure. Oh, by the way, the UI thing that I was mentioning, one of those occasions when I went to my room, I lived in 830, 831, and 832, in the 3 years I spent there. I went there one time, there were 10 people in that room, no bed. I walked into the room, it was bare floor, because they moved their mattresses in the morning. Okay? So when I asked to see the students that lived there were 10 people living in the room. Okay? So that's just one thing about infrastructure. Let me talk about health. I want to get you angry. Remember I said that I'm not telling you what you don't know, but you may not be connecting it to your life. Let's talk about health for a minute. Again, I will use it as a microcosm of what's in Nigeria. A young lady, and this can happen to anybody, a young lady, 26 years old, just got married, was in the hospital to have a baby. She was pushing and pushing and pushing. She pushed for too long. Something in the US that is routine, C-section. They see you like this, they think you have a small pelvic or whatever, they just take the baby out and you leave, you have more babies thereafter, the baby leaves. They made her push and push and push until she died. She died with the baby in her. Last December 31st, a popular radio personality was hit by a car that New Year's Eve. As he was crossing, he worked for Ifena's radio station. As he was walking out of the studio to cross the road, he was hit by a car. They took him to the state hospital owned by the state. There was no doctor. There was no electricity. The man died. Let me just put it that way. The man died. There are no ambulances. I mean, you have all sorts of things that will happen to you. Young people like you and I, I'm not young, people walking around just die like that, and people assume that it's juju that killed him. Meanwhile, the guy died of high blood pressure, but nobody has diagnosed him as having high blood pressure. So, and then education. I went to school in Nigeria. I don't think I can send my kid to school in Nigeria and they will have the kind of education that I have. Fortunately for me, they don't have to go to school in Nigeria. In fact, I just have a young 5-year-old now. The older ones are already out of university. But even she would not have to go to school in Nigeria. But that is sad that is where we are. I would love for my child to have the experience that I had. Okay? And so when he launched the movement, the difference between him and some of our friends, because just like he is a friend, we have friends who are in APC and PDP. We have friends who are in these parties. I am a card-carrying member of APC. We have friends who are commissioners and governors and all this other stuff. But the difference is the integrity. Not the kind that you're talking about with the other people in power right now. But somebody you've known in their personal life and you've watched and you've seen how they can stand up for what is right at their own peril sometimes. So you kind of want to trust that person with your country. So that's what I want you to be looking at. Will he give you money? No. The first town hall that we had, the students brought the drinks that we had. They brought the water that we drank. They brought the Coke. We were all sitting at high table, dry mouth. But if you go to an APC or PDP thing, you get money. But that would be your future that you just took. Now, if you read SAHARA reporters, I'm also an economist on there, so I write sometimes. Some of these things that I see, I write. These things I've just talked about, I've written about it. I took a trip down Okeogusai. Anybody who's familiar with Okeogun in Oyo State, Nigeria, took a trip down there one time and stopped at some of the schools. I'd driven past like 3 primary and elementary schools, and I was like, those cannot be schools. And then at one point, I said, okay, this maybe let me see. So I backed up all the way to the school. There was no roof. There was no window. These were active classes. Once SAHARA reporters published my article, 2 months later, the roof was up. Somebody was reading. So I want you guys to get angry enough to reach out to your friends. Reach out to your friends and say, listen, we have to start somewhere. He is not a youth either. He's just younger than those people we are talking about. When, I don't want to mention names, some governor, former governor of Kwara State, when he was governor there, was in his 40s, maybe 41 or something like that. He was not a youth. A couple of others too. The one in Ekiti was also in his 40s when he was first governor in 2006, before he was in the Okita office at that time. So these are young people too. It's not just the age. We don't want a young person who is corrupt, or who has no vision, or who has no ideas, who has no energy. We want people that don't have anything to lose in terms of material wealth, and don't need to gain anything in terms of material wealth. So that when people go back, people like you and I who are abroad, when we decide to go back home, we go back to what we have seen. I know Nigeria is not going to be like the US that I've lived in tomorrow, but we can start now. Right now we are retrograding, regressing, however you want to put it. We are not even trying to catch up. We are actually going backwards. We need to start going forward. We actually need to start going forward. Those who came from Nigeria to this place, you notice that we still have electricity. Since you've been here, there's electricity. You may be wondering, okay, maybe it's a generator. Let me tell you something. I live here. Okay? In the past year and a half, my gen has not come on more than 3 times. And my electricity never went out past maybe 1 hour. Okay? I have one also in Nigeria. I know how much we spend on diesel there. Take it back. So, ladies and gentlemen, be angry enough. Do whatever you can. And like they say in Yoruba, he has not asked me to say this. Okay? Nobody has asked me to say this. The people you are trying to fight, they have money. They have stolen your money and they are going to use that money to stay in power. So you must give something. You must try something. If you don't have money, give your sweat to make this work. Okay? I don't have his permission to say this. I'm just saying it because I know that to go into the villages, you're going to need petrol, you're going to need a vehicle to rent, to buy, or whatever. We need to do this. And then after you've talked to your fellow youth, talk to your parents. Talk to your parents so you can peel them off those traditional parties. Peel them off APC, peel them off PDP, AD, and all these other nonsensical parties, and have them come and join you, so that they won't have to be paying for you, and you will not become an arm robber to them. Right? That's what I have.
you very much. The significance of this program is to take contributions from your side. But we'll let Farida and Marie also give us some perspectives on how young people are actualizing or putting themselves together. I've come to know Farida for some time now. It has not been easy for a woman to be leading and putting together all the opposition it took to break that dynasty it took. So I think we will take some short remarks from Farida and then Mary will follow. Yes, yes,
Thank you very much, Stone. I don't think I want to take the whole credit for putting together the opposition in Togo, but thank you for that. I would like to thank you all for being here today. As you already know, I'm not Nigerian, even though I'm always told that I look Nigerian. But I'm glad to be here and standing next to Sowore many years after I met him the first time in the US. And I'm going to tell you a little story about how I actually met Sowore. So I was in the US, just finished college, and I was surfing the internet and I stumbled upon a video of a Nigerian activist that actually disrupted a meeting held by Nigerian politicians in New York. I was like, oh my God, this guy is so brave. So I looked for his contact online. It wasn't too hard because SAHARA reporters is everywhere. I sent him an email, and in less than 5 minutes, the guy calls me back by my phone. And he was like, because in my email I talk about how in Togo we have also been led by a dictatorship for almost 50 years. So he invited me to come to SAHARA Reporters on New York so that I get to talk about my country, Togo. And that was the very first time that I was given a television panel to talk about Togo on a foreign media, because we don't consider SAHARA Reporters Togolese media. And I was living in Washington, but he made me come to New York. He took care of my accommodation and everything. And from that moment on, he made SAHARA Reporters available to us, not to me, because he even went as far as having us recruit Togolese journalists. I can publish stories on SAHARA Reporters in English, because we are French-speaking countries. The news of repression and oppression in Togo not really come out. And it wasn't until SAHARA Reporters journalists started mentioning the crisis in Togo that we started gaining attention outside of our country. And that really meant a lot for us. It was a little push that took us very far. For a country like Togo, very small in population and in size, we are led by the oldest military regime in Africa. The same family has been in power for 51 years now. And when we look at countries like Nigeria, I've heard all the stories you've been saying about Nigeria, and not only ours is actually worse, but on top of it, we get abused physically. This is a country where you organize a protest and you get many people shot at and killed. This is a country where we have hundreds of political prisoners. This is a country where they send militaries going home to home, arresting and beating people, women including babies, and having other Africans not only sympathize with us, but coming in and supporting us in our struggle for change was really meaningful for us. And when Sowore announced that he was going to run for president, I not only welcomed the news, but I pledged my support to the movement, because I believe that our continent deserves better as a whole. Nigeria is the biggest country on this continent in terms of population, and when you look at West Africa, the ECOWAS, Nigerians alone are like over half of the population of West Africa. If my dad once told me something, he just said that if Nigeria was doing well, the rest of us wouldn't even be too well, we'd just be sleeping and we'll still have food. But unfortunately, all the wealth and the resources and the opportunities of Nigeria have been hijacked by people who only care about, building their stomach infrastructures. and at the expense of the citizens, and you now see Nigerians in other countries, many other countries all over the continent trying to make ends meet. It is definitely unacceptable that a country that has so much resources and so much opportunities is left behind. This is a country where you hear about some of the most appalling form of corruption. Like the whole budget of Togo is $1.2 billion, but a Nigerian minister managed to steal more than that. So, you know, a Nigerian minister can steal more than Togo's GDP. That's amazing. You know, we're like, wow.
Take it.
Take it.
You know, so basically when it comes to corruption, we know that the headquarters is Nigeria. And governments can go and take inspiration from Nigerian ministers on how to steal a lot and still go scot-free. And manage to continue to steal even by staying in exile. This is something that's not only shocked us, but actually scares us, because we're like, as long as these guys are in the corners, ours know who to rely on to help them do worse in our countries. But beyond this, we believe that there's a need for us young Africans to break the barriers of colonialism and understand that we are in this mess together, and we can only come together to face our demons and to solve the problems our countries are facing. Because when you remove the names, when you're telling the stories of some countries like Togo or Cameroon or Congo or Nigeria, you can use the story of one country and totally adapt it to another, because we are led by the same kind of people. They only have one interest, is themselves. Their level of selfishness has actually also boosted their zeal, and the amazing part is that they are very unified in their efforts to destroy our nations. But we are not exercising the same type of unity when it comes to fighting them. And it is important that we bring our efforts all together. Understand that if Nigeria is fixed, then Togo can also get better. The president of Ghana, the first president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, once says that when Ghana got independence, on the day of the proclamation of Ghana's independence, he said, till the whole of Africa is free and is independent, Ghana is not independent. And the same thing applies to other African countries. Till Nigeria is free, till Nigeria has a system that is not corrupt, there is no way other African countries will not be corrupt. As long as people in Nigeria can get away with corruption and abuse, others will also have the zeal and the confidence that if the Nigerians can steal so much and be fine, we can do more and we'll still be fine. So we have to bring our forces together. When our brother was speaking earlier on, he said he wants to see young people get angry enough to take action. Just 2 weeks ago, there were huge protests happening in Bangladesh. Massive protests. Hundreds of thousands of Bangladesh youths took over the street to protest against something that I have never seen any African protest against, even though we are the #1 victims. They were fighting against the fact that their roads are unregulated and people were dying of accidents. I mean, we have celebrities dying every year in every single country. Last year, we had 5 Togolese comedians that died in an accident. Earlier this year in Ghana, they had this very popular seamstress that also died in an accident. And just a few days ago, a Nigerian celebrity also died in an accident. How many of us have not protested against that? No, we complain. The best we do is to even complain. Some don't complain at all. So complaining is already an accomplishment for the most of us. Taking it to social media is also another step for those who are a little bold. We just sit and allow ourselves to get killed by a system that is supposed to be protecting us. So us getting angry is about us taking action. And taking action goes beyond saying we want change. It's also going about holding those who are in power accountable. So I want to see Nigerian youth here understand that they have to come together to change their country for the future. When the brother was telling the story about how in the university they paid 50 naira and then they had all this nice chicken and they had ice cream, it reminded me of the same story my parents told me when they were about the time they were in the university. How they said they had air conditioner in the university. that was the 1960s and 70s. Well, the University of Lome that I had been to, there were 600 of us in a room that is supposed to have a 90 capacity. And we all sit all the way till the front. People come with their own chairs. Some actually sit on their bicycle outside. I have images like, and then you have to go on campus by 3 a.m. if you want a seat for a 7 a.m. class. And in 1970, they had air conditioning. Like, we don't even see the damaged air conditioning in the building anymore. Somebody has stolen it long ago and sold the parts. So if our parents had it better than us, when it's supposed to be the other way around, we go to other countries, in Europe for example, when the parents tell their children how the condition in which they went to school, the kids are shocked. You know, when you take kids to school to see a typing machine, well, you go to our ministries and the ministry's assistant is using a typing machine. That's Africa for you. And we find it normal. So it's unacceptable that we are having it worse than our parents. And if we don't take action now, our children will have it even worse than us. So if they had rooms with air conditioner in the 1970s at the university and we had to sit at 600 in a room of 90, it means our kids will be at 10,000 in a room of 90 in 20 years from now. How can we allow that to happen? Not taking action is actually an act of betrayal to the upcoming generation. We must do something about it. And maybe if the former generation had fought hard enough, we wouldn't be in the mess we are today. So we have to understand that whatever efforts they made in the past, we must double or triple or quadruple that. Unfortunately, we're not even doing 1/10 of what they did, because activists back in the 70s and the 80s were more strong and bolder than what we are seeing today. So at this rate, we are guaranteeing a worse condition for the future generation, and that is something we must not allow. When I say we youth, I'm considering myself a youth because I'm not 30 years old yet. But we are the majority on this continent. We are like less than 30 years old. We are over 60% on this continent. We are actually democracy. We can actually say we will only vote for somebody who represents our needs. But when we continue to be those kind of youth who want to fight corruption, but at the same time are willing to take 1 cedis or 1 naira for people to vote for someone, then we are not reflecting the change that we want. We are willing to sell out our future. We are refusing to hold on to our principles until we develop those principles and we hold on dearly to them and understand that our future cannot be bought and our liberty does not have a currency value, then we cannot obtain the change that we want. So I do hope that you will become the advocate and the ambassador of change and take it back, not only in Nigeria, but outside of Nigeria. You will bring other people along with you. You will help take it back, become a reality. I have seen a lot of criticism towards Sowore on many things. Some people said, and that made me laugh, some people said, well, he has no experience in governance. You know, and I don't understand how you can people can prioritize somebody whose only experience in governance is bad governance over somebody who doesn't have the experience in bad governance. So how can you value somebody whose only experience in governance is stealing your money, arresting your people when you complain, and beating your family when you say something against it? You can value that experience over someone who is genuinely coming to overturn the system that is abusing you. The only experience that we need to rule our countries is the love for our nation. And once we have that love, it's reflected in our actions, in our willingness to put everything aside and come in and demand change. And Sowore has been doing that for decades now. He has been a brother, he has been an inspiration, and I do hope that the Nigerians will see in him what we, the young Togolese people, we have seen in him, and will benefit from this experience.
Let me also shout, take it! I'll make mine short. About 30-something years ago, I used to be in Nigeria. In fact, we started off in Jos Plateau State, and then went down to Kaduna, and then Benue State, and then Katsina. Throughout my childhood, I can say I went to the best school in Nigeria. Okay? 30-something years down the line, we cannot say the same thing of Nigeria. I think I had the best time of my entire growing up in Nigeria.
Like my colleague, the military officer said earlier, I don't think I would even want my children to go back to Nigeria. I'm not a Nigerian, I'm a Ghanaian. But here is what I want to put across. See, over 40 years ago, those leading Nigeria now, what we see in Nigeria now was the vision they had 30 years back, 40 years back. So what we are saying today is the end game, it's the destination of the vision they had 40 years back. The point I want to make to you is that beyond what you are seeing from them today, you cannot see anything more. Because when you arrive at your destination, you park your car. Alright? So, when I see people like Sowore, you know, rising up to demand change and to disrupt the status quo, okay, there's two things happening here. One of them is not only just disrupting the status quo, it's creating a new era. It's a totally new era. Because the old era which started 40 years ago has come to a destination. It has stopped. My pastor always used to say to me, a man cannot give you what he does not have. These guys in power now have gotten to the end of their accountability. They can't give you any more accountability beyond what you have seen. People are asking for change. They have come to the destination of their change. You cannot see any more change beyond what you have seen. People are saying they need to be creative in their thinking so that Nigeria can get better. Their creativity has ended. It ended. So, when people like Sowore come on the scene to cause a disruption, for people like you, Sowore is more or less a vehicle that you can use to say, look, here is the change we want to see happen, and here is how we want to see it happen, through a man like this. Sowore is your voice in the future. It's more or less an opportunity for you to buy shares in Nigeria's future. It's an opportunity for you to have a voice in Nigeria's future. The first time I met, I chanced across Sowore was his, I've been watching from a distance, and then I watched his video on a radio station. He was taking on, I think it was a member of parliament or something. A minister. And he made a point that since then has resonated with me. He said, and I'll paraphrase it, he said, the fact that you are calling me inconsequential, it was the word, wasn't it? The fact that you are calling me inconsequential means that all the youth that I represent in my generation are inconsequential. The truth is you are not inconsequential. So, whether you decide that you are going to be allowed to be called inconsequential or you allow yourself to be seen as inconsequential depends entirely on what you do towards his victory. And I often would have said that, you know what, support him with your finances, but where we've gotten to now, it is beyond finances. You have to support him by being able to also influence people you can influence to vote for him. You have to be able to support him with your money. And then you also have to be able to sound his voice out. Because you see, the truth is this. Somebody will believe in what he is doing because you believe. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much, but I want to end with this. If you fail to push him, please hear me out. If you fail to push him to be the change that Nigeria needs, I guarantee you, it will cost you another 60 years. If you don't take anything away, I want you to take that. If because of you, he does not make it to the top, it will cost every one of you another 60 years plus. So the point I'm making to you is you have just this window.